An 850 FICO score does not mean you have money.
True.
It does not mean you have an income.
True.
It does not mean you have wealth.
Also true.
All it means is you have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest to the bank.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel where we discuss most things personal finance and all things credit. I am your host, Jay Woodfin, the co-founder of the industry's first AI-based credit repair software that allows you to create your own custom-made credit repair letters that you can send to dispute any negative accounts on your credit report. All you got to do is head over to 750approved.com where you can find out more information. Now let's get right into today's video. This video was actually sent to me by one of our subscribers, so thank you so much for sending this to me. If you guys have any videos that you want me to comment or react to, please feel free to go ahead and email them over to me at justjay@jwoodfin.com. Now this video that we're about to take a look at is from Dave Ramsey. It's a clip from his show where he's actually answering a question from one of his followers about how to improve your credit score without debt. So what I'm going to do, just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and go through this video. I'm going to play it and I'm going to comment on it as we move through the video. I actually want to hear what Dave has to say. I haven't seen the video yet. I started to watch it and I was like, you know what? I want to blindly react to this video. So I waited to go ahead and do this with you guys live. So here we go.
Diana follows me at facebook.com/Dave Ramsey. How can someone improve their credit score when there's no debt? You can't. And that's a good thing. We need to understand what a FICO score is. The FICO score has, according to FICO's website, 4 elements to it. How much debt you have, the kind of debt you have, how you pay your debt. It's all about debt. So you're...
Okay, let's just take a beat right here because we're already off to a crazy start. First and foremost, let me just kind of put this disclaimer out there for the rest of us professionals out there. Words mean things. It's what defines the rest of our reality. You can't just say stuff because you've been doing things for a long time or because you have a lot of money. You actually have to mean what you say. So when he puts out a fact that there are 4 elements to a FICO credit score, and it's all about debt, and then he starts to name the things that don't even relate. First of all, he's wrong. There's 5 elements to a FICO score. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the FICO.com website real quick. I'm going to pull up the elements to a credit score. Now, for those of you out who have been following me for a while, you probably already know what they are, but I want to put it on screen just to kind of match fact with whatever reality he's dealing with. Now, I'm not going to call Dave a liar because that would be libelous. And I don't want no problems. I want no smoke. Not that smoke. But I do want to bring you guys the truth. What he's saying is inaccurate. So let's start off by getting some facts up on the screen here. So if you can bear with me for just one moment here, I'm going to pull up FICO's website and we'll go ahead and take a look at what actually makes up a credit score. I'll be right back. So as you can see here, we have actually myfico.com's website pulled up. And the reason why we're at myfico is because I went to fico.com and I searched for what makes up your credit score or how credit scores are made or calculated or whatever. And it gave me the link to this. Now, when I clicked the link, it went here. So let's go ahead and take a look. Either way, facts are facts. So you have 5 elements to the FICO score, right? You have your payment history, your amounts owed, which is your utilization rate, your length of credit history, your new credit, and your credit mix. So that's 5, right? That's 5. Now, some of those things do have to do with some debt. There is payment calculation in there, so that has nothing to do with debt. It just has to do with the habit of making on-time payments. There's new credit being procured, which has nothing to do with debt truly. It has to do everything with how much credit you have been trying to procure over a certain period of time. Usually it's 12 months. And then you have your credit mix. It's what type of credit that you procured. Now, some of that can be debt, which would be installment loans and mortgages and things of that nature, auto loans, stuff like that. And then some of it is purely credit, which would be revolving credit, which has nothing to do with your debt. It just has to do with the lines of credit. And then you have your length of credit history, which once again has nothing to do with debt. So when he's talking to you saying that the FICO algorithm, the FICO score algorithm, everything that makes it up is just debt, that's wrong as well. So once again, guys, you have to understand, from professional to professional, words mean things. So this is what makes up your FICO score. It's not 4 elements, it's 5. And it's not all about debt. All right, so can we please get back? Let's get back to the video. Hang tight.
FICO score I ran into a guy this weekend. He said, "No, Dave, I don't really need your information. I have an 850 FICO score. I'm doing fine." And it wasn't a situation where it was a social situation where I couldn't really laugh at him in his face. So I just nodded and said, okay, and walked away. But
I'm not going to call him a liar because that'd be libelous, and I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. But I've been doing credit for a long time. Did my own credit 10 years ago. Been working with people ever since. I have never personally met anybody who has achieved an actual 850 FICO score, nor have they told me that they have. So the fact that this story just so happens to have fallen in his lap, the quote unquote weekend before this question was asked, that's a tough one. That's tough. That's tough to take. I want you guys to be careful of something, of people who sell things. If you ever notice, people who sell things often have these hyperbolic stories that fit the narrative of the story that they're trying to drive home, or the point they're trying to drive home. This can happen in arguments when somebody's trying to sell their point to win an argument. It can happen in this particular case with a professional who's trying to sell his authority and his ability to prove that his point is correct. Hyperbolic anecdotal tales that fit the narrative. Be very careful.
because there was no, I didn't have time, nor did I have the footing in this conversation to completely expose the ridiculous thinking that represents. Let me help you with that. An 850 FICO score does not mean you have money.
True.
It does not mean you have an income.
True.
It does not mean you have wealth.
Also true.
All it means is you have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest to the bank. It's the only possible way to get an 850 FICO score.
What?
You have to have a lot of debt, have had it a long time, and have paid it perfectly. And stayed.
Okay. I was going to try to let it go, but my brain's going to go crazy. So I'm going to use myself, not a anecdotal tale, but my actual life of how I built my 800 plus credit score without paying hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Okay. Now, outside of a mortgage or something like that, or a car that you procure because you want a new car, as far as like credit card debt or anything like that, you don't have to go into debt to build your credit score. You don't. You can build your credit score without an auto loan. You can build your credit score without a mortgage. You can build your credit score without a personal loan. Now, will those things help propel you to that upper echelon? Then absolutely. But as far as building your credit score, as long as you have opened up a credit card and you use that credit card religiously to buy the things that you want on a daily basis, stay within your means, and use the money that's in your bank account to immediately pay down that money that you used on the credit card. Debt doesn't exist. This is what people don't understand about credit cards. Credit cards do not equal debt. Lack of discipline equals debt. What is the difference? And I want to pose this question to all of you haters out there. What is the difference between you going to the grocery store, using the money in your bank via debit card or check or cash, and buying the groceries that you need, and then going to the grocery store, using a credit card to buy the groceries that you need, and then using that cash that's in your bank to pay that credit card down before any interest kicks in? What's the difference? And no one can explain this to me. Everybody who comes at me with this credit cards equal debt scenario can't explain what I just asked to me. What's the difference? The only difference is by using a credit card, you may actually make a little extra change. Using a debit card, you get nothing. You get lack of protection. You get no rewards or very little rewards. You don't build credit, nothing. So I don't understand where he's coming from with this, that you have to incur hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt in order to build credit. It's 100% inaccurate. Once again, not saying he's a liar, because that would be libelous, and I don't want no smoke.
In debt religiously. As a matter of fact, you borrowed money just to keep your FICO score up, to be at that level. Now, does that make sense?
No, Dave.
Well, let's think about it. The number one key to building wealth is having your income to invest instead of having committed it to other people. That means gotten into debt.
It's true.
When you don't have any payments, you have money to invest and to be generous with. And all the data points tell us that that is the fastest way to build wealth.
True.
All the research gives us that. Plus, common sense tells you that.
Okay, chill out, man. Relax.
So once we understand that the fastest way to become wealthy is to be out of debt, and we understand secondarily that the FICO score is 100% built off of your relationship with debt. If you have a high FICO score, it means you've been playing kissy face with the bank a lot.
I don't know what the whole kissy face.
Once you understand that.
What is the kissy face with the bank situation? What is that? Can somebody explain to me what kissy face with the bank means? He says this a lot, and I don't really know what kissy face with the bank means. So if you know what that, if you're a Dave Ramsey follower and you can drop that in my comments, please do that. Explain to your boy what playing kissy face with the bank means. Because if you have your money in a bank account, you're playing kissy face with the bank as far as I'm concerned. So somebody help me out with this one, because your boy's lost.
That the FICO score is not an I'm good with money score. It's not an I'm wealthy score. It's an I love debt score. And I'm really good at borrowing and paying back a lot of debt over a long period of time score, which is a stupid way to score whether you're winning with money.
So let's go ahead and let's walk that back a little bit. The FICO score is not a I love debt score. The FICO score is simply the way they calculate, just like you get an A in school or a B in school or a C in school. The FICO score is your grade for how you've managed money that you have borrowed and paid back, whether you borrowed it for a day or whether you borrowed it for a year or 30 years and paid it back. It is not I love debt. Most people do not love consumer debt. It's dangerous. But if you know how to manage it properly, you have a high credit score. Now, it doesn't mean you have to pay interest. See, a lot of people don't understand the difference between debt and debt with interest. It doesn't mean you have to pay interest. By the way, you do know that using a dollar bill is a form of using debt. So if we're going to get real technical with it, let's do it that way. So we all use debt on a daily freaking basis. Just having your money in a bank account on a daily basis and the fact that it doesn't keep up with inflation is putting you in freaking debt. So let's stop using the word debt like it's the bad thing here. Unmanageable debt, irresponsible debt, all terrible. Just like fire. Fire can be used to create empires. It can also be used to burn them down. So let's stop it with the game plan and the shenanigans.
So when the guy goes, well, I'm doing okay, I've got an 850 credit score, what he really meant was, I'm pretty stupid. I'm giving the bank a lot of money and I don't have any likely. Because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, that straight line is debt-free. I have my income. I can put it into investments.
I also want you guys to notice something about Dave. There's always a little bit of truth in everything that he says. Now, I do believe that he believes everything he's saying, and I believe that he doesn't understand it's based on a lack of knowledge, and it's almost all emotional, which is a whole nother conversation. But do you want somebody leading you with emotion, or do you want them leading you with provable facts? This is what I don't understand about his whole philosophy here, is that with all of the staff he has, all of the time he has, and all of the research that he supposedly does, he doesn't actually know about credit. He doesn't actually know about credit.
So, my point being, my credit score, very proudly, is indeterminable, which is the FICO score people way of saying I have a 0 score. Why do I have a 0 score? I have had no debt, no accounts open of any kind for a very long time. If you only will do business with me or loan me money based on my FICO score, we can't do business. I don't have a FICO score. Because I don't borrow money. Because not being in debt is the fastest way to become wealthy. So your goal should not be, how can I keep my credit score up? How can I build my credit? Because building your credit is, I'm going to borrow money. Why? So later I have the opportunity to borrow money. Why? So that I can borrow more money. Why? So I can stay in debt and make those towers in the skyline be owned by somebody else because I gave them my working life's income. You're being ruled over by banks.
All emotional. Everything he just said has to do with emotion and driving your emotion to agree with him. And he's very good at it. I'm very good at it. People who sell well and orate well are very good at driving emotion with our tone, with our demeanor, with our stature, with the life that we live. We can make you move when we want to. And the way he makes people move is impractical. There's something Dave is leaving out here, and I believe that he is getting to it now, because usually when he gets on this rant, there's something coming. So let me pause for a minute. Let's keep it pushing.
They're telling you what to do. They're managing your life. They've built it into the culture to the point that people actually walk around bragging about their I love debt score. What a great job the banking industry has done teaching you to be in debt and stay in debt, which is where they make all their money. The credit card is the most marketed product in the history of the world.
That's true.
More money has been spent selling you credit cards, marketing you credit cards than any other product in the history of the world. And it worked.
I believe that to be true.
You all have one, or two, or 22.
Big facts.
It worked. Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel manipulated? Don't you feel used? You should. You're a slave. The borrower is slave to the lender. So don't improve your credit score. Have a goal of having everything paid off and every account closed. And then somewhere around 6 months later, your credit score will be fabulously indeterminable.
The reason why this particular point is wrong, and he didn't end up going where I thought he was going, so shame on me. But anyway, your credit score will not be indeterminable 6 months after you close accounts, because accounts will stay on your credit profile for up to 10 years. That includes the payment history from that account. That includes the information on that account. And when you close your account, let's just say you have a couple of missed payments. Okay. And then you do what he says and you close that account. Well, now you've lost the age that is attributed to that account, which is a positive attribute of your credit score. And you have maintained the negative payment history, and it will stay there for up to 10 full years. So he's wrong. He's wrong. Now, I'm not calling Dave a liar because that would be libelous, and I don't want no smoke. But he's wrong. So do not close your credit accounts, especially if, in fact, you have some negative issues that belong to that account. You would be doing yourself a huge disservice.
0. How would I get a house? How would I get a house? Well, 2 possibilities then. You'd have to get a mortgage with someone that doesn't use a credit score to issue a mortgage.
Good luck.
Which is a mortgage company who actually knows how to write mortgages the old-fashioned way. It's called manual underwriting, like Churchill Mortgage does. Or you'd have to save up and pay cash. How can you do that? No, you pay cash for a house. You just tell people not to buy houses. You're just unrealistic. Dave Ramsey is unrealistic. Yeah, I am. And I live that way. I live in an unrealistic world.
Oh, he's going to do it.
Where I've become unrealistically wealthy.
He did it. He did it. I thought I lost him way earlier when he was kind of heading down this road. I thought I lost him, but he did it. He finally did it. He finally told you to live life like he lives life. So let's go ahead and I knew he was going to do it because he always does. Let's go ahead. This guy, look at him. Look at him. Do it like I did it. Here we go. Dave Ramsey, net worth $200 million. Most of America averages an annual salary of $47,000 to $55,000 a year. In a world where the income is not keeping up with the cost of living, but he wants you to save up and pay cash for a mortgage I know the story is coming. The hyperbolic anecdotal story is coming. It has to, because if it doesn't, he can't prove to you or make you feel like it's doable. It's coming. Just like I knew this was coming, just like it does in every video he has. He's worth $200 million and just put his $15 million mansion up on the market for sale. He's telling you to live life like he lives it. How do you feel about him calling you the dummies and the idiots and the stupids, telling you to live life like a 200 millionaire? Let's continue.
Managing money God's ways. It works every time.
There's God. There he is.
So you have to be like that young couple I ran into. He was an engineer and she's a teacher. Just talked to him the other day. They're young. They're making a lot of money for a young couple, so they're unusual, granted.
Is this the story?
But they were making right around 100.
Right away.
And they're, 24 years old.
24 making 100.
When they started. They had no dad. And they decided they were not going to borrow money for a house. So they lived in an apartment, a garage apartment out back of a rich old lady's house. He cut the rich old lady's grass and kept her gutters cleaned out, and the rent was almost free because of that. Their friends made fun of them. Their parents thought they needed counseling.
Perfect story.
But they made 100, and their rent was $250 a month in a nice city in a nice neighborhood. But it's a garage apartment over the top of a garage out back of a lady's house. It was not fabulous.
All right, so he used the Lord. He's got his hyperbolic story. I'm going to tell you something about Dave Ramsey and other people like him. People have scammed in the name of God. And I'm not saying Dave Ramsey's a scammer, because that would be libelous. And I don't want no smoke. But I'm going to tell you right now, people have followed this trend of hyperbolic anecdotal stories, using the name of God and religion, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right to push people like you in their direction. Pay attention to the habits. Pay attention to the method that he uses. Pay attention. Meanwhile, facts do not abound. Truth is far, far, far away. Not saying that he's a liar, because that would be libelous, and I don't want no smoke. But I need y'all to be careful when you listen to the advice of people like this. Not that his advice is not good at times, because it is. But you better be able to discern the difference between what's right, what's real, and what's wrong.
And you know what they did? They saved. Almost. Well, I think they saved right at $50,000 a year for 4 years, and they paid cash for a $200,000 house when they were 28. But everybody made fun of them. Now, if you're making, by then, $125,000 a year, and you're 28 or 30 years old, and you never have a house payment the rest of your life, do you know how rich you're going to be?
Perfect
story. See why you don't need a FICO score? Hello, Are you starting to catch on to these numbers?
Perfect story.
This is real.
Mm-hmm.
So don't improve your FICO score.
All right, I'm done. I was going to let this thing finish out, but that's a wrap for me. Look. I don't know what to tell y'all about Dave Ramsey. Actually, I do know what to tell you about Dave Ramsey. If you have trouble managing your finances, if you have trouble being disciplined, then his baby steps to financial freedom, whatever the hell that stuff is called, is amazing for really locking you down and getting you to a point where you can start fresh again. But once you get past that point, if you continue to hold on to his philosophy of living, I promise you that you and your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids' kids will be eating out of the same trough for the foreseeable future of your lineage. You have to progress, and you have to use the tools that the system has made available. You see, a lot of people, they feel like the debt that they have is insurmountable, but Dave Ramsey comes along and tells them, if you apply this principle and that principle and this principle, it's doable. Well, I'm telling you the same thing when it comes to credit. Credit is not a death trap. It is simply a system just like every other financial piece that you have here. Investing, you got to learn how to do it properly. Saving, you got to learn how to do it properly. You have to educate yourself. Credit is no different. Stop being afraid of it, like guys like this. $200 million in, and he's still afraid of credit. At least that's what he's telling you. If you guys like content like this and you want to send me a video of Dave Ramsey, you can go ahead and email me at justj@jwoodfin.com. If you want to check out 750approved.com and have us do your dispute letters for you so you can stop buying those templates and buying those courses and things of that nature, we'll go ahead and knock out the letters. We'll send them to you, and they're all custom, by the way. Every account has custom verbiage. There is no template letters in my system. Go ahead and send them to you. All you got to do is mail them out. You guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank you so much for visiting my YouTube channel. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on so that you know whenever I upload a video. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. I know you guys got plenty of places where you can get your credit content and credit education, but you're here with me. Y'all be blessed. I'll see you soon.